Welcome back once again to howtocookgreatfood.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Okay, on the menu today we're going to make a lamb kabsa, which is a very famous dish from Saudi Arabia. Let me run through some ingredients. At the back in the centre I've got some nice lamb on the bone, nice bit of fat in there and the bone, really important. I've got some sliced onions, I've got some sliced tomatoes, then the spices. Here I've got a couple of green chilli. Next to that I've got ginger and garlic finely minced. Here I've got some turmeric, some fennel seeds, coriander powder, cumin powder. Then I've got some whole black peppercorns, green cardamom. That's quite a distinctive flavour in this dish, or certainly the one I'm going to be making today. Some bay leaves. That's a dried black lemon. Again, pretty important. These two are really up there in the flavour levels. Some cinnamon, some cloves and some salt. Of course we're going to add some rice as well. I will start this off with some oil. Let's get over to our cooker. This does take a little while, but it really is fantastic. Let's go. Okay, so I've got a fairly large pot here and I've just added some sunflower oil. Use any oil you like. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to brown our meat now. Then we're going to add lots of spices, the onions and those tomatoes. We're going to cook our meat for a very long time. We're then going to take it out and then we're going to add the rice and cook the rice in that fantastic stock. So let's get started. Here goes my meat. Now there are so many versions of kabsa, it changes from town to town and house to house. The most popular is actually made with chicken. So check out our other videos because we've got a chicken one there which is slightly different than this. Okay, let's start off by putting in those cloves. Salt. I'll hold some back, we can put that in later. That cinnamon stick, that dried black lemon, the bay leaf, the green cardamom and the black peppercorns, the turmeric, those fennel seeds, that'll give it a really lovely flavour. And then let's just give this a little mix. So at this stage I'm holding back on the cumin and coriander powders and the garlic, ginger and chilli. What we want to do is we want to get a lid on this, keep stirring it. I mean, I'm on a fairly high heat. We want to kind of brown this and get this happening. But I'm going to lid on, stir it every now and then. I'll be back in about 8 minutes. Okay, let's take a look. It's coming on really nicely. I mean, nowhere near cooked at all yet. You know, we want this really nice and tender, this meat. But what we have done is kind of sealed it with some beautiful flavours. Talking of which, let's get that cumin in, cumin powder, and that coriander powder, roughly equal parts. Optional green chilli, it's only up to you how much you put in. And I've got there that minced garlic and ginger. Let's also go in now with some sliced onions. So this bad boy here, the dried black lemon, if you can't get it whole like that, you can probably find it in a powder form in a store somewhere. It's very popular now. If not, you'll have to go online and buy some. So, now we've got our other flavours happening there. We're going to, again, lid on, and we're going to cook this for just about another 4 minutes on a fairly high heat. Keep giving it a stir, and I'll be back then. Once again, we'll jump in. Let me let a little bit of steam out of there for you. Now we've really pumped a lot of wonderful flavours now into our meat. Now it's time for those sliced tomatoes. Nice and ripe. The riper your tomatoes, the better. And again, the lid's going to go back on. We're still on a fairly vigorous heat. And I'm going to cook this for about another 4 minutes. We'll just soften those tomatoes down. Okay, let's take a look. Let's get that steam out so it doesn't cover that lens for you. Hopefully you can see that now, okay? Oh, those tomatoes have cooked down beautifully. This is looking incredible. Smells amazing. Next step, we're going to add water. Cold water. So as you can see, I've covered it, plus maybe a centimetre or so. Now, on a high heat still, we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to simmer it. Turn that heat down fairly low, simmer it for about 30 minutes. I want that meat to be really, really tender. And then after that, we're going to remove the meat, take it out. Then we're going to add our rice into this wonderful, wonderful stock that we've got. It's that simple. Bring it to the boil, then simmer it down, keep it rolling like a kind of rolling boil there. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, depending on the size of the meat you've used. I'll be back then. Okay, so I'm back now after about 35 minutes. I need to allow some steam out here before I show you this. And as you should be able to see now, we've got a wonderful, wonderful stock here. And our meat is really, really tender. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, you can see that. Beautiful. So what we're going to do, we're going to take all this meat out now, set it aside, then I'll be back. So there we go, there's our meat. Set that aside and I'll show you what to do with that in a moment. In the meantime, we've now got this amazing, amazing stock here. I'm now going to add some rice to it. I've cooked this right, washed it already. Now we're going to cook it. So in it goes. Just get all of that in. Give that a mix. I'm going to turn the heat up again a bit. So I just want to sort of bring this up to more of a boil and then simmer it down. We're going to put a lid on this, keep it nice and tight, and we want that rice to absorb all of these delicious, delicious flavours. I'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Keep an eye on it. Let us jump in there now. Look at that, that's nearly done that. Just going to give it a couple more minutes, but that is fantastic. That's just where we want it to be. So, let's get over to our meat now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just pop this in the oven. I'm going to put a little touch of olive oil on it. High heat, just for 5 minutes. And I'll be back. Almost forgot. A little topping for us for our dish. I've got a little bit of butter in there because I've melted. I've now turned the heat off. I'm going to go in now with some raisins. And I'm using today some almond flakes. If you are going to use the whole almonds like these, you need to boil them so that skin comes off and then use it. But I quite like these almond flakes for this. And all we're going to do is just toss these around and just toast them just a little bit. I mean, not too much at all. Let me get a little bit more heat back on there. So just like 1 or 2 minutes. And then we're going to sprinkle this on top of the dish right at the very end. So the next stage really is our rice is now done. our meat's out of the oven, because that was only in there just for a few minutes. This is pretty much done. We're now just going to put it together. Let's go and do that. Okay, so I've got a large serving plate here which I'll put our rice onto. We're now just going to put our meat on top of that, which is beautifully tender. On it all goes. And simply we're going to finish this off now with a generous sprinkle of our dried fruit and our almonds. And that is ready to serve. It's absolutely delicious. Does it take a little bit of time? Yeah, it does, but it's great. Hope you enjoy it. See you again next time. Bye-bye.